Hi everyone, my name is Kathleen Ramos Perez. I am studying English at UNAC. I am in the 7th semester. Today I will tell you about the topic English language learning ELT materials. So I hope that you understand this topic. I will answer two questions. Okay? Start. The first question is what should English language learning ELT materials have? Okay. The effectiveness of material used for language teaching depends largely on how meaningful, relevant, and motivating they are to the learners. So I consider these materials should provide opportunities for outcome feedback. I agree with Brian Tomlinson proposed. The materials shall are expose the learners to language in authentic use. Other is help learners to pay attention to features of authentic input. Provide opportunities for outcome feedback and provide the learners with opportunities to use the target language to achieve communicate purpose. Stimulate intellectual, artistic, and emotional involvement. And for finish, achieve impact in the sense they arouse and sustain and learns curiosity and attention. I understand that English teachers usually teach their students by using available textbooks. However, choose learning materials which are ideally suitable for the needs of the students are not always available. I consider when we are having objectives of the teaching learning familiars with the needs of the learners, the teachers can to develop a their materials for the learners to achieve the objectives or to fulfill the learners' need. Okay. Okay. The second question says, please explain the main on the following question. Proposal for principal approaches to the development of ELT materials. One of the times which materials creators need to use to develop flexible frameworks to help them produce effective materials for target learners in principle and coherence wise. In my case, my framework develops is as I progress and it helps me to write clearly and effectively. I consider divide the principle of language acquisition in four parts. So the first is I consider a prerequisite for language acquisition is that the learners are exposed to a rich, meaningful, and comprehensible impact of language in use. This means that in order to acquire the ability to use the language effectively, The learners need a lot of experience of the language, begin use in a variety of different ways for a variety of purpose. The second is principle of language acquisition 2. In order for the learners to maximize their exposure to language in use, they need to be engaged but effective and cognitive in the language experience. Priorities the potential for engagement, for example, basing unit on the text or attacks, which is likely to achieve effective and cognitive engagement. Same, they make use of activities which get the learners to think about what they are reading or listening to and to respond for it personality. Other is that make use of activities which get learning to think and feel before, during, and after using the target language for communication. Now, the third principle of language acquisition, third, is language learns to achieve positive effect are much more likely to achieve communicate competence than those who don't. In this part, they also need to achieve positive self-esteem and to feel that they are achieving sometimes worldwide about all they need to be emotionally involvement in the learning process and to respond, be loud, greeting, angry, feeling sympathy, feeling happy, or other expression or emotion. Finally, principle of language acquisition 4. This case is that L2 language learners can benefit from using those mental resources which they typically utilize when acquiring and using their L1. In L1, learning and use learning typically make use of mental imaging, of inner speech, of emotional response, of connection with their own lives, of evaluation, of prediction, of personal interpretation. In L2, learning and use learning typically focus narrowly on linguistic decoding and encoding. I did make use of activities which get learnings to visual and or use inner speech, I don't know, before, during, and after experience writing or spoken text. Other is that make use of activities which get learns to visual or use inner speech reflect to to mean and mental activity during attacks, and to try to make more use of mental strategies in a similar task. Okay, everyone is all to my activity. So I hope that you understand it's very important that you now this topic. So goodbye, have a good day. Bye bye.